All right, so we're diving into the world of Westside Gunn today. Specifically his mixtape, Hitler Wears Hermes 7. And, when you want to know what makes this project so special, I think, it's not just another mixtape, right?
Right.
This is like a pivotal moment for Gunn, for the whole Griselda crew.
Right.
Where they're blending this raw, like that 90s boom bap sound, but then they bring in this like high fashion element that you might not expect, and all while telling these like gritty street narratives that Gunn is known for.
Yeah, no, you hit it right on the head, man. This is not just like a standalone project, Hitler Wears Hermes 7 is like a true evolution, man, in the series. Like each HWH release, it's like Gunn's leveling up, refining his craft, but also pushing the boundaries of like what a mixtape can even be.
Yeah, and you feel that evolution like right off the bat, right? That opening track, FCKNTWK. I feel like, there are those moments in hip hop where like an intro hits and you're just like, oh, okay. Like the rest of this is about to be fire.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Facts.
And that's DJ Drama on this track.
Yeah, man.
Like bringing in Drama to introduce this project is a statement.
It's a power move for sure. Like he is a legend, man. Just like tied to that whole like mixtape, like golden era of mixtapes, like that Lil Wayne dedication energy, that Jeezy Trap or Die vibe. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, for sure.
Back then, mixtapes weren't just albums. They were like events.
Yeah.
So like to have him on FCKNTWK is like, it's connecting Gunn. It's connecting Griselda to that lineage.
It's like dropping you right in that lineage, that history, like we're here, we're part of this, but we about to take it somewhere else too. Speaking of taking it somewhere else, let's talk about the production for a second too, because you got Derringer, The Alchemist, Statik Selektah. Like Gunn is pulling in the heavy hitters for this one. This isn't just like beats, you know what I mean?
No.
This is like landscapes for these stories to unfold on,
For real?
Yeah, if you're not as familiar with like the underground scene and everything.
Right.
These producers, they're known for this like raw, gritty sound. A lot of times they're sampling like old soul and funk records.
And it's so meticulously crafted. The production on HWH7, like you got these haunting loops, these minimalist beats that never overpower Gunn's voice. But then, like, those little, like, those well-placed soul samples, it just hits different, man. It creates this, like, this gritty, almost, like, film noir-esque, like, atmosphere.
Broadway Joes, right.
Yeah.
Like, that's the example, right?
Yeah.
You got these, like, these swirling keys that are just, they create this hypnotic vibe, and then Gunn's voice cuts right through it.
Okay.
With these, like, razor-sharp street tales, and it's unsettling, but it's captivating at the same time.
And that contrast is, like, a recurring theme, too, throughout HWH7. Like, that juxtaposition of beauty and brutality. I think it's something that you see throughout Gunn's work in general. Like he's exploring this constant tension between the allure of like the luxury and where he comes from, the realities of it. And so the music becomes like this sonic representation of that struggle.
And speaking of like struggle and contrast, like his voice is an instrument, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely.
So distinct, it's so powerful. Some might call it like, I don't know, nasal. But it's like, it's what gives it that edge,
It cuts through those layers of production, man. It's not just delivering lyrics. It's like another layer of grit. It's another texture in the whole sonic landscape, man. And then, like you said, you add those ad-libs in, the gunshots, like he's creating this whole sonic world that you just get sucked into, man.
And it's not just him on this project either, right? You can't talk about HWH7 without talking about the features. And when Griselda links up, it's going to be special, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Conway the Machine, Benny the Butcher.
Come on.
They're not just spitting verses at that point. They're elevating each other's energy on these tracks. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Especially on tracks like Cool G or Lucha Bros. Like, you can feel that synergy, their shared history. It's like a well-oiled machine, man. They feed off each other's energy. They push each other to these new heights. It's crazy.
And it's not just like the Griselda family affair on this one, right? Or like there's this one collab that like caught me off guard in the best way possible.
You're talking about Fat Joe on Kelly's Corner, right?
Yes. Like, it's not every day you see a legend like Fat Joe, like on a Griselda track, But it just works,
It makes sense.
It makes so much sense. It's like those classic, like, New York street rap vibes,
Right.
Like this mafioso rap flows, but then, like, filtered through, like, Westside Gunn's. It's a distinct, like, modern lens, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like this, like, unexpected bridge between different eras of hip hop, you know?
Absolutely. And I almost feel like it's almost like a passing of the torch moment in a way, you know, like a testament to Gunn's influence. Like he's bridging those generational gaps now.
Yeah.
Like he's got these legends
Yeah.
that want to be a part of what he's building, you know?
Facts, man, facts.
But then he switches it up on us again at the end, man. I don't know about you, but like that outro with Keisha Plum doing the spoken word on, like HWH7, that hit me right in the feels, man.
Feel that outro is something else, man. It's not your typical, like, fade out with some ad-libs or something. It's like the final scene of a movie, you know? Like, you've been on this intense ride, and then you just get this, like, this moment of, like, reflection, you know?
It adds this unexpected emotional depth, man.
Yeah.
And, you know, I feel like you don't really see that on a lot of hip-hop projects, especially in this lane, like this, like, you know, like this harder street rap lane. But that's Westside Gunn for you, man. Always pushing boundaries, defying expectations. He's crafting, like, an experience, you know? It's not just like a collection of tracks.
The whole thing.
Yeah.
And speaking of which, right, like, we've talked about the production, we've talked about the features, but we got to talk about, like, the man himself for a second, like the storyteller at the center of it all, right? Like the Gunn's lyrics, they're so vivid, man, like so detailed, you know? It's like he's painting these pictures in your mind, you know?
And he's not afraid to show you both sides of the coin either, man. Like he'll go from rapping about lavish dinners and high-end fashion 1 minute, then like hit you with the harsh realities of like street life the next, you know. And that duality is crucial, I think. To understand a Westside Gunn's artistry, man, he doesn't shy away from the complexities of, like, his background, you know, of the struggle, like, to reconcile the allure of wealth with the realities that he's trying to, you know, escape.
It's effortless, right? Like on Banana Yacht, he's like, you know, sailing on yachts, dining on caviar, but then boom, right back to like the streets, references to like drug deals, violence. And it's that like that push and pull, man, that makes it so compelling.
You hear that tension in some of his lines, like he's got one, ship for Cuban link, listen, this for the ones that didn't listen, you know? So it's like, he's always like contrasting those two, the allure of the wealth, but then also like never forgetting where he came from, you know? And it's not just about like the streets either, right? He weaves in like references to art, fashion, culture, you know? It's like he's creating this whole tapestry of experience, you know what I'm saying?
It's like, I'm here, I've seen both sides, and I'm going to tell you about it, but I'm going to do it my way, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when it comes to crafting that sound, right, like that sonic world, we got to give it up to the Alchemist on this one, too.
Yeah.
Like, his production on tracks like Lucha Bros, it's next level, man.
Yeah.
Like, those boom bap drums, like those soulful samples, it's signature Alchemist, but it brings this, like, timeless quality to HWH7, you know?
It's that classic sound, but it doesn't feel like dated. And I feel like that's Alchemist's superpower, honestly. Like he can bridge those generational gaps, you know, where he's bringing that like old school hip hop feel, but it still sounds like fresh and modern.
Yeah.
And it's just like the perfect backdrop for Gunn's storytelling, man.
And by the time you reach like the end of this project, it hits you. Like this isn't just another mixtape. Like this is a statement, you know?
This is Gunn at the top of his game, man.
Oh, yeah.
And he knows it. There's this sense of like culmination of Gunn really coming into his own, like as an artist, you know? Like he's not just like the street rapper from Buffalo anymore. He's like a curator now, a tastemaker.
Yeah.
Like he's shaping the sound of like, you know, underground hip hop.
Yeah.
You know, he's not afraid to embrace that influence either. And he's doing it all on his own terms, man.
And that like raw, unpolished energy of it all, like it's intentional, you know? It's not about being like perfect, you know what I mean? It's about being authentic. And I think that's what resonates, honestly, like that realness.
Yeah, Hitler Wears Hermes 7.5. Like it's the culmination of like years of him grinding, honing his craft, staying true to his vision, you know? And like we said, man, it's that blend of luxury and grit, fashion and hardship, but it's all wrapped up in this like cohesive, captivating package, man. You really got to hear it to understand the full impact.
Yeah, and as we wrap up this deep dive, I'm left with this thought, like Westside Gunn style, it's more than just music, it's a statement. And it makes you question, like, how can like fashion, art, and storytelling like intertwine to create something truly unique? And I think that's what HWH7 is. It's unique, it's raw, it's undeniably Westside Gunn.